if you have seen any of the Netflix series. Actually, the last one, Sparking Joy, was just released a few weeks ago. So I'm curious to know about how much do you know of Marie Kondo?
I bought 2 books and then I bought another, and it was the same of the I read already, but no problem. And I really enjoyed to read them.
Okay. Anyone else can tell me in the chat if they have read any of Marie Kondo's books? The life-changing magic of timing up, spark joy, or any of the others? Okay, I got some of the show in Netflix, just curious about it. Cool. YouTube videos about her and her method. So it's good to see that you already have some knowledge. Probably many have been interested about the folding method of Marie Kondo. There are a lot of videos about that. Okay. I will tell you a bit about other books that not many people know, and maybe you're interested, especially if you have children or teenagers in the family. You work as a glitter clearer, awesome. So you're gonna love it. That's how Marie Kondo started, with the art of the glittering. Okay, so I think we are already in quite a few. So maybe we can just start. I'm going to share my screen, so it will be easier to go through it. I hope everyone sees it clear. Okay, Marie Kondo's secrets. But before we start with Marie Kondo's secrets, I would love to share my own secret. And it's why did I become a Marie Kondo consultant? Okay, when I was about 12 years old, maybe it sounds a bit pretentious, but I decided that my mission in life was to make a better world. As naive as it can sound, but it was even more naive the way I thought I could do that. Because I thought being a lawyer would be the best way to do that. So I studied law and I was practicing law for quite a few years. Obviously, it was very rewarding in some ways. And definitely I helped people with some big issues. But at the end, if many of you have been probably in relation with lawyers and in that world, probably you know that you see many things that are not fair or not the justice that you expect from the law world. So I decided to quit and I tried other different careers, mainly in business development, where I travel a lot around Europe. And before this step of my career, I was a corporate events manager. So during all those changes, basically I forgot about my initial desire that I had when I was a child, no? To make a better world. So the quarantine started, the pandemic, all that we know. And as you can imagine, with a job in events, the future didn't seem very clear. So I sat down and I thought, okay, I have to make another move in my career. What do I do now? And I remember about that initial desire, no, my personal legend, as Paulo Coelho would say in The Alchemist. I'm sure many of you have read the book. If not, it's very recommended to read it. So what Paulo Coelho says in The Alchemist, that when we are a child, we all know what we really want to do in life. No, it's what he called the personal legend. But at some point when we grow up, we forget about it because we get more focused about money or success And that's what happened to me, actually, during the most of the years of my life. But when this epic situation came with the pandemic, I remember what was my personal legend when I was a child. So I thought, well, what can I do to go for it now? And I saw it very clear. I want to become a Marie Kondo consultant. Why? Because Marie Kondo system is not about tidying houses. It's about making people happier. It's about helping them to find their own personal legend. So just for you to know, tidying the house is only the beginning of everything that will happen after. So now you want to know probably more about Marie Kondo. Who is Marie Kondo? The most of you know her because of the books or the Netflix shows about the tidying, the folding, thinking that you have to throw the half of your home away, but it's not true. Because Marie Kondo is not minimalist at all. Some people have that idea because she had an interview in NBC, I think, where she said she only had 30 books. So many people think that the Marie Kondo method only allows you to have 30 books. That's totally untrue. She said you can have as many books as make you happy. They can be 3 or 300. So please forget that idea of doing Marie Kondo means to throw the half of your home away and to keep very few things, because it's not at all minimalist. So what is the great achievement of Marie Kondo? Has been the creation of the KonMari method. KonMari, because of her name, Marie Kondo, KonMari method. And is, of course, the author of that famous book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. But as I was saying before, it's not the only one. When you want to do the method by yourself, you don't only have to read that one, but also Spark Joy, that gives you more tips and more detail about every category. But there are more, and very few people know about this. There is also a system to tidy your office, but not only physically, also virtually, what is very interesting. It teaches you, and I do this with my clients as well, how to organize your virtual workspace, your inbox, that is generally a mess, or your folders, the archives at your computer, your apps, the phone, everything that can be tidy, basically. Explain how, even your time and your networking relationships. She also has one very funny, I love it, and you can read it in less than an hour. That is the method in a manga way, with a little funny love story that takes you through the process. And for the little ones, she has Kiki and Jax. Very short, and it's about how being untidy can be an issue to give your friends. That's a bit of a spoiler, but it's quite funny. This book for children, also in different languages. And of course, the two shows in Netflix. But how did Marie Kondo create it or discover this method? It wasn't like over the night, obviously. She was already interested in tidying when she was only 5 years old, reading magazines that they found, well, reading, kind of reading the magazines that she found at her place from her mom and from her grandmother. But when she really started to become obsessed was when she was around 15 years old, and she discovered the Japanese art of decluttering. That is when she started compulsively throwing things away with different methods that she was reading about. Probably you have heard of these methods too, like throw or discard one thing a day, and discard everything that you have not used in the last 2 years. Or every time you buy something new, discard something old. She tried all that, but not also with her own items. She becomes so paranoid about discarding things that without her family knowing, she used to go to their bathroom and their closets and the common areas and throw in bit by bit each day one thing, waiting for the family to don't notice that she was throwing so many things of them away. But obviously, at some point, they noticed, what is it, Marie? I don't find this. So they found out that what she was doing. And from one day, they say, Marie, from now on, it is absolutely forbidden that they touch any of our belongings, not even to tie them, not even to clean them, nothing. Well, she said, okay, I still have my room. So she became tidying and tidying over and over her room in different ways and throwing away more things every day, like a sickness, basically. And one day, she came from school, opened the door of her room, and basically started crying, thinking, how is it possible that I've been for the last 3 years not doing anything, not meeting with my friends, not having really personal life, just throwing things away and tidying my room, and still it's not tidy. I'm about to quit. And she said that at that time, she heard a voice in her head that told her, look more closely at what you have. Okay. Then she fell asleep. And when she woke up, thought again about that, look more closely at what you have. And she discovered the answer is, I've been obsessed with throwing things away about what to discard when I should focus in what to keep and only keep things that spark joy and honor them and treat them with love. And that's how she discovered the key of her method and how is the magic of tidying up happening. That's the pretty beginning. So this is not about what to discard. It's about what to keep. It sounds the same, but it's not the same. When you will be doing the process at home, you will never realize or think, oh, this book, do I want to discard it or not? No, it's, do I want to keep it? Does it spark joy? Yes, stay. That means that the ones that don't spark joy will get a better life with someone else to enjoy. So that's the key, the basic rule of the KonMari method, only to keep things that spark joy. But it's not the only one. And there are more rules that they are not here, but I didn't want to give you too much information today. But these are the other key principles that make the method be so unique and to work. To work in a way that if you do it correctly, you only have to tidy one time in your life. Unless you move to another house, you will never have to tidy. My house, I don't need to tidy since about 3 years ago. And that's what will happen to you if you follow the method correctly. So what is the common mistake that people make when they want to tidy? To tidy by room. No, sometimes maybe you say, I'm going to tidy the kitchen, I'm going to tidy the living room or the children's room. Mistake. That's the basic mistake everyone makes. If you tidy by room, you will never finish tidy. You have to tidy by category. Why? Because when you tidy by category, it's the only way that you know everything you have of the same category. Let's say, for example, stationery, no, pens, post-its, rubbers, everything related with stationery. If you tidy the stationery that you have in your office, in the house, for example, you are missing the stationery that you may have in the kitchen or in the living room or in another drawer. There are pens everywhere. So when you go another day and tidy the kitchen, you will tidy again stationery. So you have to collect first everything related to a category from all the house, open every closet, open every drawer. And only when you have everything, you can decide what sparks joy, what not, and then tidy. Another great thing of doing it by category, you see duplicates. You will be amazed about how many staplers, for example, people can have in a house and they don't even know it. And because they don't know where they are, they keep buying more staplers. Okay, so when you have organized them, because you have them all together, you can storage them together. So next time it will be very easy to find whatever you need. Super important role by category. What is the second super important role? Is to tidy following the right order. This is the famous order of Marie Kondo. Clothes, books, papers, komono, that in Japanese means miscellaneous, is everything else, and sentimental items. Okay, why this order? That maybe can sound very random to you. It makes perfect sense. Why? Because clothes is the easier category to decide, and sentimental items is the more difficult one to decide. So by the time you have started with the easier one, clothes, and you go through the others, by the time you get to the end, your sensitivity to know what the sparks joy will be at the maximum, and you will be able to make the more difficult decisions. So if you do it at home, please follow the order. And what is the third rule that make the method to work as a complete? Is when you have finished every category in the house, you have selected everything that sparks joy, you have all the categories and subcategories together, you need to find a specific place for each item. And pay attention to this. Not a specific place for each category, of course, but also for each item in that category. So even something silly, like, for example, here is in my office. All right, you can see this one better. Post-its. This post-it has a specific place to be here. The yellow is there and the pink one is behind it. And it's always there. And if I buy a new one, that will be its place. That way, every time you use something, you know specifically the place that it has to come back. You don't need to wonder, do I leave it here? I don't know, maybe in this drawer. That's the key of for never have to tidy again. And maybe you wonder, and what happens when you buy something new? Great question. It's as simple as to decide what will be the home, because we like to call it home. Every place has his little home. So when you have decided this new pen will be exactly here, you can always use it and put it back to its place. Okay, so let's come back to the basic again, the famous spark joy. You say probably, okay, that sounds very easy. No, I usually keep what the sparks joy. But how do I know what the spark joy? This is absolutely different for each person. There is not a general answer. Marie Kondo has a very nice way to describe it. That is like a little thrill, no? As if the cells of your body are slowly racing. And actually, it's like you feel like lighter, no? Your body goes up. And when something doesn't spark joy, it's the opposite. You feel very heavy, like drowning a bit. For me, for example, the feeling of sparking joy is those butterflies in the stomach, kind of when you fall in love. And I smile a lot when I do something that sparks joy. For one of my clients, that was very funny. She knew when something sparked joy because she felt like moving. And if something sparked a lot of joy, she even started dancing. So it was great to see her deciding, this one, yes, no, this one, no. If she didn't move, it didn't spark joy for her. So you will have to discover your own way of knowing what sparks joy for you. There is a little exercise that I do with my clients and that you can do at home as well to discover what sparks joy for you. And it's very simple. You will have to choose your 3 favorite pieces of cloth of your wardrobe. It can be whatever, a t-shirt, a dress, socks, your 3 favorite. And when you have them, you have to take them in your hands, like this Wonder Woman is one of my favorite t-shirts, and see how it feels. You need to connect with the cloth and say, why do I love it so much? I feel, for example, this one is so comfortable, it's soft, it's like fun. I feel like really having fun when I wear it and feel free and like myself. So knowing what you feel when you touch something that you really like, it will be easier when you touch something else to see how much the feeling is similar. Is it similar to the Wonder Woman t-shirt? Yes, quite similar. Good, spark joy. Oh no, it's very far away of the feeling of the Wonder Woman t-shirt. So it doesn't spark joy. Obviously, you will find some piece of cloth or items that it will not be as easy. When that happens, there are some key questions that I ask to my clients when they are hesitating so much. And those questions can be, for example, imagine yourself wearing it, that cloth. In what situation do you imagine wearing it? Will you wear it for a job interview? Will you wear it for a date? Will you wear it on Saturday to go out with your friends? And when they say, no, 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 okay, no, it doesn't spark joy. Another question that is always work when nothing works is, if you will see it today again in a store, will you buy it again? Today, but not in the way that the t-shirt was when you buy it today, because maybe today has some holes, has loose shape, whatever. So imagine that you find it right now in a store, will you pay for it? And so many other questions depending on the person that you can ask to find out if that thing sparks joy or not. But is that the real magic of tidying up? Is to organize your house and to have it very tidy, to only things that spark joy for you? That's awesome, definitely. I mean, that's a life-changing itself thing. But that's not really the purpose of the method. To tidy is really just the beginning. Is what will allow you to know what really sparks joy for you or not. Because think about it. If you will be able, through the process, you will have to make 100 of decisions. Just think for a moment how many pair of socks, shoes you have, t-shirts, jackets, and that's only the closet. Then go to the kitchen and think about glasses, cutlery, napkins, whatever you can find there, towels, books, any single paper around the house. So set hundreds, maybe thousands of decisions. And what happened when you have decided hundreds of times? Does it make me happy? Yes, no. Does it make me happy? Yes, no. That your ability to know what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy is fabulous, is in their peak. And from there, you are able to know what makes you happy in some other areas of your life. Work, relationships, friendships, and you will see yourself, how do you start wondering and thinking, what can I do for my life to be better? Do I really want to do this? There was a client that even told me that when she goes to the supermarket and is going to buy something, she goes like, does it spark joy? Even if it's bananas. So, no, really, because they are a bit fatty and blah, blah. No, I'm not going to get the bananas. So you can use the does it spark joy for everything. But the more tricky ones are with people and with jobs. Advice that I give you in advance, because some people, after they finish the process, they want to get divorced or to quit their job, is don't do it straight away. Especially at the beginning. If you are in the middle of the process, finish first and think what other lives will spark joy and how can you make them real, because some people get really too much intense after the process. Just think it through. Probably you're asking, okay, this is all great. How do I start? You can start today with the first step. And the first step, you have to do it by yourself. And it's actually not the more important, but essential. And it's visualizing your ideal lifestyle. How will you do that? It's very important that you do it in writing, because when we write with a pen and a paper, we feel more compromised to what we are writing, more than if we write in the computer or in the phone. That you are by yourself and that you are not going to be disturbed, say for a while, at least half an hour. And you will start thinking about that day from the morning until the night, with every detail in that ideal lifestyle that you have, and with no limit. Don't limit yourself about how is your house now, how is your life now, or the money you have now. No, dream big. So how is your room when you wake up in the morning? Everything, the color of the sheets, the smell, the view from the window, the feeling of a cushion that maybe you have there, and how do you feel when you wake up? Then you go next step, go to the kitchen. How is the kitchen? Is it bright? What colors do I see there? How is my cup of coffee or my coffee maker? Where do I sit? How do I feel when I'm having that coffee? Then you keep going. Then you go to the toilet to have a shower. How is the toilet? What do I see there? How is my closet? How do I feel when I open my closet? What type of clothes is there? When I dress up, how do I feel? I feel empowered, I feel sexy, I feel professional. How do I want to feel? What is the image that I want to give to the world? Then you go to work. How do you feel when you get into the office? We're not going to get into the detail of the office because that's another system. Because for the office, just as a quick tip to know the main difference between tidying your home and tidying your office is that in the house, as you know, we will only keep what sparks joy. In the office, we will only keep the things that make us more productive or inspire us. Similar to make happy, but no, it's a bit tricky. But that's for another course or masterclass or experience to have in the future, is how to tidy the office. Okay, but you keep going through the day. You come back from work, or if you were at home, is how do you feel working at home? What do you do then? What people do you meet? Do you do things with your children? What do you do? And how do you feel doing those things? You come back home, exactly the same. What do you see when you open the door? What is at the entrance? What do you do after? How do you feel preparing dinner? All the way long until you go to bed. That seems easy, I will say. No, you only have to write that, but with a lot of details. But that's not the more important part of visualizing your ideal lifestyle. The more important part is to ask yourself, why do you want to live like that, with all of those details? So imagine that you have said that when you go to the kitchen, you want to see white furniture and it's very bright. Then you have to stop and ask, why do I want it very bright? Because it made me feel relaxed. Okay. Why do I want to feel relaxed? Because I am quite stressed at work and with my family. Okay. Why am I stressed at work? Because I feel that I have too much responsibility that I shouldn't have, and so on. You have to go with everything that you imagine in your ideal lifestyle and ask yourself why. And that's how you will discover yourself and more things that you can imagine. It's like going to a therapist, but doing it by yourself with a notebook and a pen. I have a questionnaire to help you with that process. If you want to use it, in my website is in Spanish, but if you want it in English, you just need to email me or text me in Instagram later or tomorrow, whenever, and I will send it to you to make easier to remember all these questions that you have to ask yourself through the day. So what do you do after visualizing your ideal lifestyle? You are so motivated, you have seen it, you want to make it happen. What's next? The tidying festival. And I love this expression of Marie Kondo. because it's a festival and it's a one-time festival. But you have to do it right. Some people just start opening whatever closet or start throwing things away. Actually, the first time I heard about Marie Kondo, even before, when I started reading the book, I mean, I was only after a few pages and I started discarding things, and that was a mistake. I realized after you cannot start discarding anything until you have finished the book, because you are not prepared. I realized that I throw away some sentimental items that if I would have waited, I would have not thrown them away. So don't make the same mistake as I did. You have to follow the order and every rule that is in the method for the magic to happen. So as I was saying, there are two ways of doing this tidying festival. To do it by yourself, as I did the first time, you read the life-changing magic of tidying up. Very carefully, you take your notes, enjoy it. And after you read Spark Joy, that is basically a more practical guide, but you cannot use it by itself. It's a complementary of the other book. It gives you more details about every category. Really helpful. So after you have read the two books is when you can start doing the process and using the books always next to you to guide you and to keep going and make sure that you tick every category and subcategory after you move to the next, before you move to the next. Or the other option is to do it with a Marie Kondo consultant, like me, and like many others around the world. I'm sure you have one around in your city. We also all do virtual sessions, the ones you can find around you or myself. So that's your decision depending on how much help do you think you are going to need. These are some quick examples of some of my clients and what they said. Papers is one of the more difficult categories, as you can imagine, because papers is everything. Since a ticket that you had from the groceries to important documents, flyers, pizza discounts, everything that is papers. And for that, you have to look in everywhere in your house, even in your bags, everywhere, because papers has a tendency to appear like mushrooms in the more unexpected places. So be ready and have a lot of, you will need to have a lot of energy when you go to papers. These are my services. Generally, I work in person if they are in Madrid or in closest places in Spain, also in Murcia, because I'm from there, or virtual. That is actually the most of the people is what they do. Even some people in Madrid, they prefer virtual because of the current situation. And I'm very happy to give you all this discount during the next month for any of my sessions. And another great thing that I would like you to do, if you're interested in knowing more about the method or what we will do, is to book, that is free, a virtual session of 15 minutes with me in my website. So we can have a one-to-one video call and you can tell me what are your struggles and I can give you advice, even if you are going to do it by yourself, about whatever you need or doubts you have about the method. Will it work for you? What do I do if I have children? My husband is the main problem. Whatever your situation in your family is, I would love to hear about it. Here are my details. If you want to, I don't know, do a screen copy, although I think Pamela is going to share my details in the chat as well. And well, I think I've talked too much. And now I'm looking forward to hear from you. Your experience with Marie Kondo, if you have done it, your questions, whatever is in your mind. Yeah.
This is Ana, Eugenia, Ana Manso
Okay.
from Madrid.
Hello, Anna. I'm
Hi.
trying to see you. I will stop sharing so I can see you all better.
Well, my camera is off because here is kind of dark. So anyways, I just want to thank you again for everything you do. I think your business is incredible, and the way you teach and the way you do and the way you are, because I took your first course, can I say that?
Yeah, the workshop.
The workshop, yeah, and it was incredible, and it changed my life completely, because I didn't know how to organize my house. It was difficult. I'm a very organized person, and it was impossible. It was very hard, and you did it. You did it possible, and right now I feel like more comfortable, more confident, more everything that is from groceries or a new clothes, or now I'm working from home. It's easier. I mean, it's incredible every time that I walking into my house and I know where to go and I know where to place things, and the feeling is amazing. So I just want to thank you, and the people who is listening to me, just tell them, do it. It changed my mind and my life, and it was amazing. And the speech you just have done is awesome too. So, well, Eugenia, thank you so much for helping me to change my life, and
Thank you so much.
and I wish you the best
for sharing.
Yeah,
That's, I mean,
pleasure.
Examples like Anna and others are what really fill my heart, because that's what my personal legend is about. It's about making people happier. And when people like Anna, it's happier and I made it, it's like, okay, I'm in the right place. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Okay, Diana asks, I always find more difficult to start with clothes because it's the things I'm more attached to. Will it work if I leave clothes for the final category? Okay. If they are the things you feel more attached to, first of all, it will not be probably all of them, will be a certain number of them. That means that when you are attached to an item, doesn't matter if it's clothes or it's a book, it stops being clothes or a book. It starts being a sentimental item. That's why we do sentimental items at the end. So my recommendation will be to follow the category. So start with clothes, but every time you get with a piece that is sentimental, that's why it's so difficult to make the decision, you put it apart in another closet or in a bag. And in that area, you will be putting together everything you find that is sentimental, whatever is books, papers, a glass, whatever you find during the process. Because if you're attached, as I said, stop being the cloth category and start being the sentimental category. What do you do when something does not spark joy, but is useful? Or for example, you can afford replacement. That's a great question. Okay, there are things that doesn't spark joy, like a screwdriver. No, I like to put that example, or a bottle opener itself. Doesn't spark joy. It's not like your favorite book or your favorite dress. What is the joy in that element? Is what you can do with it. If a screwdriver helps you to put together one of your favorite IKEA tables, that's the joy. So when you see the screwdriver, you say, thank you, because you helped me to do things that spark joy. Same thing with the bottle opener. Thank you, because you helped me to open bottles that spark joy. So that is like the useful spark joy way of seeing things. If you can afford a replacement, then you have to, you will keep it, but keep it with gratitude. So rather than think, oh, you don't spark joy, but I have to give you because I cannot afford to buy a new one, try to still honor that item. Now we always see items, or I see items that they have some life or personality, right? So if it still has to be with you, be happy that it still is with you and is doing the purpose and serving the purpose that you need. So in that way, it makes you happy, and honor that item. Don't treat them differently because you will discard it. You should treat it with the same love as you treat the other things that you have decided to keep. My husband wants to keep almost everything. What do I do? Of course, I can declutter my things, but what about his stuff? This is the question that everyone asks. And it's so easy to see the clutter of others before seeing us. So something very important you need to know about the method. Even if we always talk about the house, the method is for every person. So if in a house there are 4 people living, it will be 4 people doing the method. Because each person has to do their personal items, your clothes, your books, your papers. And the common things that can be in the kitchen or the towels or the bed lining, for that the family have to agree. But the more important things and the majority of things in a house, they belong to one or the others of the people that is living in the house. So first of all, before telling your husband or your children that they should tidy, or you are thinking of tidy, but you want them to tidy as well, I will advise to not do that and to don't try that they do it at the same time as you do. You have to give examples. So if you are, Clarissa, committed in doing the KonMari method and tidy all your belongings, and also the belongings that they are common that they will allow you to, you have to do that from the category 1 from clothes until you finish with your sentimental items. And when you finish, you don't only finish discarding, storaging things. When you have a storage, everything, as we said before, giving every single item a place, and you have shared that with the family, no, for the common things in the kitchen. Look, from now on, these things will be always here, so every time you use this, come here. They will start seeing how wonderful is to know exactly where things are. No, I don't know, what is the, look here, look, whatever. And bit by bit, first they will see you folding, they will see you throwing many bags away, they will see how nice your closet look. They will see the effects of tidying before they start tidying. And this is kind of contagious. Maybe you don't see it now, you think, no, my husband is not gonna do it, but I have seen this many times. And actually, Anna knows that have happened with the husband of one of the girls that did the workshop with her, that he was like, I don't even want to know anything about this, blah, blah, blah. And before she finishes, he was already discarding, folding vertically, doing his closet, because it's contagious, really. In some cases, doesn't happen. But if it doesn't happen, the more important thing is to don't get frustrated and to keep enjoying that all your belongings are tidy, because we can never force anyone to discard anything or to force them to storage their things in a certain way.
Thank you.
Welcome. Same thing with children. When children see the mothers tidying, they love it. They find it like a game and they start discarding. I know another client, their children made themselves a bag that they have in their bedroom just to discard things. And when they see something that they don't like it, whatever it's a toy or a t-shirt, they say thank you. Because another big part of the method is when you are going to discard something, you say thank you to that item. And this little children say thank you, t-shirt, or thank you, my little bear, and they put it in the discarding bag. Okay, that's where I was going. What people choose to do with non-joy items, being, sell, give away. What I do when I'm working with my clients is we have different bags. Now imagine we are doing clothes. you will have one bag that is garbage, because it's very damaged, those pieces of cloth. Another one will be if they are in very good condition and you think you can make some money with it for selling. And another one will be for donation. A trick that I use when I have things that I want to give away, I want to donate, but there are not in a specific place, and now there are so many restrictions for donation, is I use this one of these apps to sell things, but I put them with €0. So someone that wanted just come at my place and take that pile of books or clothes or whatever. Doesn't spark joy for me, but at least I'm sure that someone that is interested, because made all the way to come to my place to pick it up, will need it and will enjoy it.
Wait, what was that place? What did you say? An app?
There are many apps. I don't know, in Spain there is one is Wallapop, another one is Vintage. These apps to sell things that you don't want, whatever is a tennis racket or shoes or a coat. So what I do is I use those apps, but rather than put a price, €30, some of the things, a few of them that they were expensive and in good condition, I sold them. But the most of them, I just post them in the app, but €0. So people who come to my place and pick them up for free. Even furniture, that's very useful for furniture, because the price many times is not in relation with the balance of the room they take and the mess about giving them away, those big furnitures. Okay, timing, very good. Knowing it partially depends on the amount of stuff you have. Would you recommend trying to do one category in a single day or over multiple days? I love that question because you think it's possible, for example, to do one category in a day. Not possible. This is a process that takes commitment and takes time. Really takes weeks or months, depending of how many hours can you spend, and of course, how many issues do you have, and very importantly, how quick do you decide if something sparks joy or not. Average with a consultant, when I do it with my clients, will be between 1 month and 2 months, and that's tidying maybe 3 afternoons a week, for example. So I hope that helps as an average time frame. If you take holidays and you just do that intensively, you could maybe do it in 2-3 weeks. What is important is not to do a bit today and then a bit next month. That's why it's called Tidying Festival. It doesn't matter if you do it in 3 weeks or in 3 months, it has to be constant. So every week you have to make time to do what is next. That's why the books or what I have is my journey for my clients. They have all the tricks and the tips to go subcategory by subcategory. And some subcategories are very small, are things that you can do before going to bed or on a Saturday morning. So that's the way you should approach it. More than categories, subcategories. So you say you start with clothes. Marie Kondo, this is here, this is a secret, not of Marie Kondo, as of mine. If you know the method by the book, to start with clothes, you have to take all the clothes you have in your house, in every closet, coats, everything, and put it together in a pile on the bed, okay? And that means that for a few days you cannot sleep in the bed. But if you, even if you have a guest room, no, what I would recommend, do it in the guest room. In some cases, and for some people, can be so much overwhelming. I know a woman that even had an anxiety attack. She wasn't my client. She told me that she did that when she read the book and did a pile. and had to go to the doctor. So this is where I break the method a bit, and I don't ask my clients to do the pile with everything together. I ask them to do it by subcategory. So you take all the t-shirts you have in your house, you make the selection, and then you fold them vertically and put them nicely in the closet. It's your first great achievement. You feel happy, all your t-shirts are tidy, and you will enjoy the day after when you open the closet. And that will give you the energy to go next. Okay, now I'm going to go to sweaters. Same thing, you take all the sweaters, winter, summer. If you have the winter away or the summer for doing this by subcategory, you have to open your closet or go to your whatever you have the clothes and bring them. That you cannot avoid. But doing one subcategory at a time is really rewarding. So you don't feel like, oh my God, it's the whole house. No, it's not the whole house. It's the subcategory, then it's socks, then it's blah, blah, blah. It's also important to ask your family for support. So when you have decided to commit yourself to tidy, you have read the books or you have hired a Marie Kondo consultant, your family have to be aware that you want to do that and ask them for support. Support not in the way of helping you, because you have to do it physically by yourself and the decisions will be by yourself. And actually I recommend that the family don't see you when you are discarding things, because they can come and say, oh, you sure you want to throw that? Oh, that was very expensive. Oh, that's almost new. I maybe use it. No, is forbidden by the method that people see you when you are doing your method. But what kind of support can you have from them? If you have children, for example, to say, during the following weeks, you can say to your husband or to your wife, I will need that Saturdays and Monday and Sunday mornings, for example, you give me at least 3 hours for myself to do Marie Kondo. Okay. Any more questions? No? Okay. So it was great to be here, and I love your questions. They were really key questions. I hope they help everyone, and I hope to see you soon. More events virtually or in person in Madrid. And please feel free to book this 15 minutes video call with me at my website, and we can discuss like this question that you are asking me about your personal situation, and I will give you my best advice. Thank you very much, a small world, for this opportunity, and see you soon. And remember, only keep things that spark joy and people.